listen, we are on page 77, and yesterday we jumped into the perfect tense. Actually, as a review, how many verb tenses are there?
Six.
There are 6, and what are they?
Past,
present, future,
past
perfect, present perfect, future perfect. I'm going to throw a timeline up here. You tell me what tense it represents. Ready? Hold on. Yes! How did you know? No, hold on.
Simple present.
Simple present. Can somebody give me an example using walk?
I walk every day.
I walk every day. See, the simple present is just a fact, right? It's not really about time. It's just, he does it whenever. It's just a fact. Okay? All right. What's this? Future.
Simple future.
Simple future. Give me a sentence using fly.
I will fly tomorrow.
You'll fly.
Hey man, don't jump off the building, okay? It's not worth it. I'm just kidding.
I will fly by a plane.
There you go.
Teacher, if I say I have
My wings. My wings.
Teacher,
By my own wings.
teacher, if I say my flight is tomorrow, what is this?
So that's interesting. He said he put the idea out. My flight is tomorrow.
This simple present.
It is with a
Future.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly, the future you can using time words. By the way, this is actually an adverb. Adverbs talk about time, right?
Yeah.
So using an adverb of time like tomorrow or next week, you can actually keep it in the simple present with a future idea. So give me your sentence again.
My flight is tomorrow.
Yeah. And really, you're stating a fact.
Or
My flight is.
my daughter has an appointment. She is seeing the doctor next week.
Yes.
It's progressive.
Same thing. Same thing. Has an appointment next week, and you're using this time word to throw it into the future. That's all it is. Are you okay?
So it's future.
Well, no. Technically, the verb tense is simple present, but it has a future idea because of this time word. Okay. All right. Let's put another one up.
Yeah.
Simple.
Give me a sentence using go.
I went to Walmart yesterday.
I went where?
Walmart.
Do you love Walmart?
No.
Oh, just
I hate Walmart.
Yeah.
You guys. Oh, sorry.
I went to
Walmart.
Kroger.
Kroger. I like it.
Kroger
So
rocks.
much.
Kroger rocks. All right. Favorite place to buy your food in America?
Kroger.
Show of hands. Kroger.
To buy a
Food.
Kroger.
Kroger. What about you? Like Marsh? Who said Marsh? You like Marsh? Do you guys go to Myers?
Yeah, mine. It's
Myers?
far away.
Oh, there's not one close enough.
Yeah.
Myers has a really cool deal. My wife buys all her food at Myers because they have an app you can get on your phone. It's called M-Perks.
Yeah.
You guys ever see that? M-Perks?
Free advertise for.
Yeah, get free coupons. Basically, you upload the app, and then you just go through their coupons, and you select them.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the checkout, you just plug your phone number in, or just hand them your phone, and they scan it, and it automatically takes all the money right off your bill. She saves like $25 every time she shops. Yeah, cool deal. Tell your wife about it. Or if you do the shopping. All right. So what's this?
Present perfect.
Present perfect. Somebody give me an example.
I have studied.
Good.
I have done for school.
She has.
I
have done my homework.
that works. I have studied. How about all night?
All night.
Don't do that, by the way. That's not
Yeah.
good. It just means you started studying in the past and you're still studying up till now. Okay?
Past perfect.
Yeah. Somebody other than Uncle Rothman, I know he knows. Hamoud, give me a sentence.
I had already left when he had arrived.
Good. I had already left.
When he had arrived.
Now listen, is it when he
When he arrived.
Good. Simple past.
Or by the time he arrived.
You could say by the time it doesn't matter. The point is, listen, the nice little thing about this, when you create a complex sentence with a when like that, which one of these events happened first?
I had
I already left.
Yeah. Whichever tense you find the past perfect happened first. So he left, because, and it's good to know because I could say it the other way. When he arrived, I had already left, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just good to know. Whatever the past perfect tense is in the sentence happened first, and then he arrived, right? Everybody okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I do that? I had already done my homework by the time he came.
Yeah. Let's look at that. I had already done my homework by the time he arrived. Is that what you said? Yeah. Did you guys get my little adverb of time cheat sheet? Did I ever give that to you?
No.
I've got a nice little piece of paper that has all of the time phrases and what verb tense you use in the main clause and in the adverb clause of time. Would you like to get one of those? It only costs $50. No, I'm just kidding. I have it and I'll give it to you. It's super handy. All right. Good. Yeah, you can do this. Hey, listen, by the way, the rule with by the time, it's the name. What does that mean when you say by the time?
When? Like.
Well, sure, two things. Matter of fact, by the time, okay, it means by the time this thing happened, something else had already happened, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a perfect past perfect. Matter of fact, it requires, anytime you use by the time, in the main clause, it requires the perfect tense. You have to use the perfect tense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because of the nature of this tense. Okay. Beautiful. Let's go to the book. You guys got it, man. You're hitting it. Let's just go look at the examples in the book on page 77. Okay? And let's see what it says here. So what do I have to have? I got to have two things for any of the perfect tenses. You already said this yesterday. I need have, some form of have, and the past participle. Good. So look at the present perfect. Turkey, read A.
Tom has already eaten.
Good. No problem there. So then read what it says. Tom
Finished eating sometimes before now. The exact time is not important.
So, and that's something worth noting. When you're in the present perfect, it just means it doesn't really matter when it started. We don't know when he started. He just started in the past, and he's still probably doing it up till now. Okay? Or, well, in this situation, has already, because of already,
Yeah.
he started in the past and he finished at some point.
But sometimes they usually think like present perfect, or like when they don't care about something like what
The time, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the whole point. The time is unknown. It's not really what we're trying to stress. Okay?
Yeah.
Look at past perfect. Ian, read B.
Tom had already eaten when his friend arrived.
Yeah, so an explanation of that first.
When he already ate.
Check this out. Just read this. First, Tom.
First, Tom finished eating. Later, his friend arrived. Tom's eating was completely finished before another time in the past.
There you go. Everybody okay?
Yeah.
We already know this. Okay, and then future perfect. Mana, read C.
C. Tom will already have eaten when his friends arrives.
When his
Friends arrive.
when his
Friend arrives.
Good. So, and I didn't actually put this up on the board. Hey, listen, this particular tense,
Nobody uses it.
I mean, we need it, right? But it doesn't get used very often in spoken English.
It's not common.
It's not that common, actually, where you need to use it for this kind of a situation.
Future
But
perfect.
it is a tense, and occasionally you need to use it, especially in writing. So, it means, Mana, read what it means. First, Tom.
First, Tom will finish eating. Later, his friend will arrive. Tom's eating will be completely finished before another time in the future.
Good. So you need will, and you need have, the base form, and a past participle. And that throws both events into the future. The first event being completed before the second event in the future. Everybody okay?
Yeah. Can I use it? Can I use it without already? Like Tom will have eaten when his friend arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah, see like this?
Without already, yeah, you can
Yeah.
take the already out.
Tom will have already eaten.
Tom will
Have
have. No.
Why?
The reason is, and you know what? Americans make that mistake. You'll hear people say it that way. But the rule is with an adverb of frequency. Okay, when there is a be verb or an auxiliary verb, like is or has or will, and then the main verb, you always stick it in the middle. Make a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah? You okay? So put it between the will and the have. Or if you're up here in just the past perfect, you stick it between the had and the eaten. If you're up here, you stick it between the has and the eaten. Don't stick it on the other side. It's actually improper. Okay? Reminds me of when I was learning Arabic. My friend Ahmed, I was a terrible student. I used to go down and talk to him, try to talk to him. Sometimes he would just shake his head, and he would say, you break the language. Qasam. I remember that word, qasam. Break the language. All right. All right, let's keep going here. Now, listen, we can make all of these, and this is my symbol for continuous or progressive. What do I need to make it progressive?
Have been and past participle.
Yeah, so I need
Have or has.
I need have, right?
Have been and I.
Plus
Been.
the be verb. And you're right, because anything that follows have has to be a past participle, so we could just put been here.
Okay.
Plus
Past participle.
past participle. If I want to make it future,
Like will.
then I got to throw a will on here, right? For future down here. All right, let's take a look at how this affects things. All right. Yes. Why don't you read A?
Tom has been studying for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Before you do that, read the meaning of the progressive with the perfect.
Okay. Form have plus been plus ing.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning the perfect progressive tense give the idea that one event is a progressive immediately before up to enter another time or event.
Good. So listen. Again, with the perfect, right? You need an X1 and an X2. It just means this event is in motion. Okay? So let's take a look now. Go ahead and read A.
Tom has been studying for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm, nice. So that tells us, listen, that's kind of nice, doesn't it? Now we have a time. Remember with the normal,
We don't have time.
we don't know how long. But with the progressive, it gives you the opportunity to tell how long the first thing was happening.
So no.
Yeah, 2 hours. All right. Ali, read B for the past perfect progressive.
Tom had been studying for 2 hours before his friend came.
Same thing, only this time both events are in the past, but we know the first event was going on for 2 hours before the second event in the past. Are you okay? Can somebody give me their own sentence using the past perfect progressive?
I had been waiting better for 2 hours in the morning.
Okay.
Before
I had been waiting for Badr for 2 hours before he finally showed up. Something like that, yeah? Good. Yeah, you want to give me one?
Yeah, we had been waiting in the airport before we went to Spain
How long though? We had been waiting.
for 3 hours before we went to Spain.
There you go. Everybody okay?
We had been eating for 6 hours before my dad arrived. No,
Yeah,
it's okay.
Okay. Funny story. I meet this policeman in a village called Tefila. You know what Tefila is? It's out in the desert. It's a small village. I got lost in the desert. in Jordan. So I pulled over at the first town, and there was a policeman on the street. And I said, can you give me directions to Aqaba? Because I was trying to get to Aqaba.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no problem. And you know how it is. You exchange numbers, and he gave me his name, and we were friends immediately, right? The problem is, he called me every day.
Oh.
Like for the first week, it was like every day. Then he started calling me once a week. And I had this other friend that was married that we hung out a lot. And every time this guy would call me, he's like, is that him again? Is that him again? So he taught me this saying. And I was never going to use it, but I practiced, right?
Yeah.
I practiced.
Yeah.
إذا أنت متزوج اقلب وجهك. إذا أنت مش متزوج. No. إذا أنت متزوج. See, I still can't do it.
Okay.
I practiced for hours.
Okay.
Omar kept drilling me, right? So
Yeah.
next time he calls, you say this. I was never going to do it. إذا أنت متزوج هلا هلا. إذا أنت مش متزوج اقلب وجهك. Terrible thing to say.
Yeah.
All right.
Not good. This
It's terrible. Oh, it's mean, right? Turn your face from me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm at a buddy's wedding, and it's the middle of the night. We're going to Salt, a little city on the outskirts of Amman, and we're at a big party. Yeah, big party at his family's house. And I thought I'd be funny. Omar was driving his car with his family in front of me, and I could see his head in my headlights. It was about 12 in the morning, maybe 1 o'clock, and I had my family and an Iraqi friend of my wife was in the back seat. And I said, hey, honey. And I said to the lady, I said, I'm going to call Omar on my phone. And I'm not even going to let him answer. And I'm going to say, it's a bizarre. And it'll be fun. So I dial him up real quick, and I'm trying to drive, so I can't really see the number very well. I hit it, and it was the first time I said it perfect.
Yeah.
And I was watching Omar. The problem is I never saw his hand come up, and I started to get nervous, and then the guy on the other line started yelling at me in Arabic. And I realized I called the wrong person. And I insulted him at 1 in the morning, and I hung the phone. The Iraqi lady, when she realized what happened, she laughed so hard. She said she almost peed her pants. And then they made fun of me for like a year after. All right, that's my funny story. All right, so let's see. Let's go. Can we just go let's practice a couple more here. Let's go future perfect progressive, and let's see. By the read C.
Tom will have been studying for 2 hours by the time his friend arrives.
Yeah. So again, listen. It's one thing in the future is going on for 2 hours before another thing in the future. Can somebody give me an example of the future perfect with progression?
Yeah, I will have been studying for 2 hours by the time my friend comes.
By the time my friend calls. Good. Now what's interesting there is you guys notice by the time it's in the simple present because you're just stating a fact, right? But you notice as before when you use by the time it requires you to use a form of the perfect tense. So we went future perfect, progressive, so that we could state the amount of time something was happening in the future before something else in the future. Are you guys okay?
Yeah.
Let's practice. Look at